thank you very much for staying with us. Now, Gauteng Human Settlements and Infrastructure MEC Lebogang Maile wants an urgent probe into the 37 million rand waterfall mansion linked to Deputy President Paul Mashatile. According to a News 24 report, the house was paid for by loans from the Gauteng Partnership Fund. It reports that the multi-million rand house is registered on a 99-year lease to Legacy Properties. The sole directors of Legacy Properties, by the way, are Mashatile's son Thabiso and his son-in-law Nceba Nonkwelo. Maile joins me now live for more on this. Thank you very much, MEC, for your time here on eNCA. Just first of all, what prompted you to ask that this be investigated? Was it the media reports and inquiries about this particular allegation?
Good afternoon and thanks for the opportunity. As you are aware by now that the Gauteng Partnership Fund is an entity of the Department of Human Settlement in Gauteng, meaning that I've got the oversight and political responsibility on the entity. So when there were allegations of undue influence and corruption, we thought it's important to establish what are the facts through the board of the entity, because this happened 2013, this transaction. So it's a transaction between two entities, an entity owned by the person you were referring to, and then the Gauteng Partnership Fund, and that's what the transaction was on board, and to also check if there was never undue influence, to check if it is consistent with the policies of the institution, the laws of the Republic, which includes the principles of transparency, of fairness, value for money, and all those related matters.
All right, so you've explained to us exactly what the scope of investigation will be. Will it extend further than just this particular allegation? Because News 24 has said before that during the time that the Deputy President was MEC of Human Settlement, this particular company run by his son and his son-in-law received, I think, about 4 tenders under the Human Settlements Department. Will you extend the scope of investigation further than the 37 million rand home?
Maybe I must firstly indicate my understanding is that in 2013, when the entity applied for, when the Deputy President was not an MEC. So I think that is a fact. He was in Parliament. He was not an MEC. So that's the first thing I think I should clarify. The second thing is that this probe is about a transaction between that entity and the Gauteng Partnership Fund.
Yeah.
We don't have an authority over other matters that have been raised by the newspaper approach to the public protector. So those issues will be dealt with there. We are concerned about the loan agreement that was entered between the two parties, and we want to ascertain that there is no money lost and that there's been value for money, and that processes were followed, and that important principles like transparency, fairness, value for money have not been compromised.
Yeah. Has the investigation started already, MEC?
Hence, we've asked the board to do We have asked the board yesterday to start with the investigations. We have written a letter. I'm sure they will undertake the authority to do it on their behalf. We have asked them that if it's possible, they should do it within 30 days. So if we can get a report within 30 days, we'll be very happy. But the board will be able to indicate to us what is possible.
All right, MEC, we're struggling to hear you here and there a little bit, but I'll just try and keep you. What will happen, MEC? I know you can't really preempt, but if anything is found to have actually gone against what you're saying, matters of transparency, maladministration, etc., if it is found that that indeed did happen with this particular contract or that 37 million rand, etc., what would you want to see happen?
Well, the law must take its course without fear or favor. If anyone is found to have breached the laws of the Republic, the law would have to take its course. So we must, as your foreign said, not preempt. And once the investigation is out, we will certainly make it public and look at the recommendations that investigations would have made.
Hey, we're struggling to hear you quite a bit, MEC, so let me let you go for now. That was the Gauteng Human Settlements and Infrastructure MEC, Lebogang Maile, just speaking to us there about the fact that he has instituted that the board does investigate the allegations that Paul Mashatile's son and son-in-law received a contract through the fund, and the contract, the money for the contract that was meant to be for something else, for instance, the building of student accommodation, was then used instead for something that it wasn't supposed to be used for, in the form of a 37 million rand home that is going for a 99-year lease in an expensive estate in Midrand.